Hey, this is Music Mark Z. Welcome to Guitar Basics. Today we're going to talk about the D chord. It's a very staple of a lot of songs out there, and we're going to play the D chord. Now, I have my guitar tuned down a whole step, which, if you don't know what that means, we'll talk about that in another lesson. But it is a whole step down, meaning my top string is not an E string, it is a D string, and it goes D, G, C, F, A, D. Usually it would go E, A, D, G, B, and E. If you were tuned to standard concert pitch, but we are not. Well, let's talk about the D chord. So I'm gonna scroll this down so you can see my hand. Let's see here. All right, here we go. So the D chord is basically by placing your index finger on the G string, which is actually not a G anymore. It is a C. But the tone of it is no, the tone of it is actually an F. Sorry, it's an F. But it is you place your finger um, on the second fret there, between the first and second fret. It's called position 2. Then you'll place your um, middle finger on the first string down here, which is your little skinny E string, and then you'll place your next finger, your third finger right there, your ring finger, in between the two, and then you'll make sure you strum this, which will be your D, which of course, since I'm tuned down a whole step, it's really not a D, but pretty much the same sound. Now, you can do all kinds of cool things with just that one chord. You think that it's just one chord, why are we even having this lesson? Well, you can do some cool stuff like this. It's just moving the shape a little bit, you know? Hold on, I did that wrong. And then you put your pinky here, and you can do like a pull-off. So that's part of the song, and I don't want to get anything taken again and saying that, hey, I'm copying stuff from somebody else. But anyways, so that is your basic D chord. It's used in several songs, mostly rock songs, but you combine that with another chord or three, and you have the basis of a pretty good song. So that is the D chord. Once again, this is Music Mark Z. You have hit the basic guitar channel. Hey, this is Music Mark Z, and you are watching the basic guitar channel. Today's chord we're going to be talking about is the G chord. Now, before we even start, I want to let everybody know that my guitar is tuned a whole step down, meaning my top string is D instead of E, and then it's followed by G, C, F, and A, and D. So instead of your usual E, A, D, you're starting off as a D, G, C. So you're a whole step back down the scale. Anyways, we're talking about the G chord today. Now, if you watch my other videos on here, you can basically construct a song out of these basic chords. And I don't really want to play a cover song because I don't want anybody to like try to say I'm infringing on copyrights and all that good stuff. But this is the G chord. So you put your index finger there on the A string. You put your middle finger there on the top E, and then you put your third finger down here on the bottom E. And there's your G chord. Now, there's variations that people play of this chord. Sometimes they'll lift their finger there and just play it like this. Okay? Your root note's right here, which is G. So it's going to be fine without that third triad there. Or sometimes they'll add their pinky down here, and it'll have a more springy sound, I call it. I play it all three ways, but that is your basic G chord, and that is going to pretty much be your basis for many, many songs around that. So once again, this is Music Mark Z, and that is your basic G chord. Hey, this is Music Mark Z, and today we're going to be talking about the C chord. And I'm giving you these basic chords because people tend to forget them. This is pretty much the roots of rock and roll, the roots of just making a song. So the C chord is you put your first finger there on the first fret, your index or your middle finger there on the second fret of the D string, your third finger there on the third fret of the A. That's the C chord. Right there, it's a basic chord. And if you watch my other 2 lessons on the basic chords, now you have the 3 chords that probably every Beatles song ever written contained. So once again, this is Music Mark Z, and that is your C chord. Hey, this is Music Mark Z, and today we're going to talk about the A chord. The A chord is played in a couple different ways and different methods, but sometimes people will just bar it, and all you're barring is your D, G, and B string, really, and then you're making sure you pick your open A string. That's your A chord. Some people like to get precise and put your fingers like that. There's very many augmented, different suspended versions that I like to play, like just those 2 right there. You can do a 7th just like that, but it's a very basic chord. You got to learn your A chord, as these are the root chords that you need to write songs, basically. So that is your A chord, and this is Music Mark Z, and I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, this is Music Mark Z, and these are your basic chords that you need to create songs. Today we're going to be talking about the E chord. E chord is a very standard position, and in fact it is the basis of your bar chord position. So if you move it up the string, it can basically go up the string like that. But your basic position's right here. This is E, the nut being E, but actually it's D, because I am tuned down a whole step. I think I've said that several times in this video, on these video series. So this is your E chord. It's basically, if you're just playing it at your nut, you would put your first finger there on your D string, your third finger here on your D string. That would have been your G string, D string, and then your A string, like that. That's your E chord. You can strum the whole thing through if you want. People play variations of this chord, again, as we were talking about the A chord, as we get a little more advanced here. That's your minor. Then you got like another E type minor, 7th, I believe it is. So, and then sometimes you can just do this. That's another version of the E chord right there. All I have is one finger on the root note. Okay? So that is your E chord. And now that you have all those chords, you can pretty much play just about any song out there. That's pretty much it. We didn't go into other chords for various reasons, as most songs don't use them a lot. Anyways, this is Music Mark Z, and that is your E chord.